epidemiological study design, which is of three types. One is observational study design, one is experimental, and one is evidence-based medicine. So observational study can be of descriptive and analytical. Then the experimental study, there is randomized trials, non-randomized trials. Then in the evidence-based medicine, there is systemic reviews and meta-analysis. So these are some important things we have to remember. Now we will see about we will describe about the descriptive medicine, analytical medicine. What are these things? These two are most important. So we will first learn about the descriptive study design. So in this type of study design, we basically ask three questions. That is when the disease is occurring, secondly where the disease is occurring, and thirdly who is getting the disease. So the time, the place, and who, that is the person. That is the person. So we will learn about the time distribution, about the place distribution, and the person distribution in descriptive study design. It is one of the most interesting thing of that community medicine. So here descriptive study, we have two types of study, that is case report and case series. So in case report, we will study about the one single case. We will study about the one single case, and in case series, we study about the multiple cases. We study about the multiple cases. So case report and case series. So these things should be clear. And the time distribution, place distribution, person distribution, we will learn in the descriptive study. So firstly, we will learn about the time distribution. Time distribution, it can be we can tell it, we can set the trend, we can set trends. So these are three types actually, which are short-term trends, long-term trends, and the periodic trends. Three types: short, long, short-term trends, long-term trends, and periodic trends. So these short-term trends are also called the outbreaks, and the long-term trends, and also the periodic trends. So we will learn about the short-term fluctuations, or the types of epidemics. These short-term fluctuations also called the epidemics or the outbreaks. Endemics or outbreaks. We will learn about that. So these are the three types. Mainly there are three types, which is depends on the source and the exposure. If it is a common source exposure, whether it is common source exposure or not, then it is propagated epidemics. And then there is a slow epidemics. So common source exposure, propagated epidemics, and the slow epidemics. In case of single exposure or point source epidemic, or the continuous or the multiple, that is common source. So on common source there will be two types, whether it is single exposure or the multiple exposure, that will be depend on that. So if we see that a common source and single exposure, in that case there will be only the if we see the graph will be like this. So this indicates that there is only one wave of the disease, and it is the rapid rise and rapid fall. So here the incubation period is 1. The incubation period is 1, and it is the rapid rise and rapid fall. This can be seen in case of food poisoning. Nextly, where there is a multiple source, it is a single source. Where the multiple source is there, there is common source and multiple exposure. Common source but multiple exposure. In that case, the graph will be like this. So here you can see that there is a rapid rise but not rapid fall. There is a rapid rise and the sustained rise. So in that case, incubation period is more than one. There will be more than one incubation period. It can be seen in case of the contaminated oil or a prostitute who is spreading the gonorrhea disease for a long time. So this is the multiple exposure and common source diseases. So it is a contaminated oil which is spreading the disease for a long time, and there will be more than one incubation period there, and there may be a prostitute who is spreading the gonorrhea disease among the people. So this will be a common source, but there will be multiple exposure also. But where there is a multiple source, in that case we will see the propagated epidemic. And for the propagated epidemic, there will be also be the incubation period more than one, and it is actually seen due to more among the more infectious contagious diseases, which are like hepatitis A, HIV, polio. In those cases we see the propagated epidemics. And it is seen due to the person to person transmission, person to animal transmission, because it is the most infectious, most contagious disease. So the propagated epidemic is seen in that case, and the graph should be like this. It is gradually rising because it is highly contagious. So it is a propagated epidemic. Nextly